paid to travel the world, right? And living in London, Singapore, moving in different countries, and now I'm based in Sydney, Australia as well. By day, I was a marketing manager, a business analyst by day. By night, I was a DJ as well. But I had it, like finally getting paid to travel. A lot of people were dreaming of that. But the funny thing is, no matter how many countries I take off, right? No matter how many how many trips I've been to, there's still something missing on the inside. Right? And just within 1 week, I lost most of my saving from the stock market. Emotionally, I was still attaching to a British lady I was dating back in Hong Kong, but we were done. And physically, I was also identified with CFS as well by multiple doctors from different countries, which stands for chronic fatigue syndrome, which means I'm just so tired all the time at such a young age, where I feel like I was like 70, 80 years old, couldn't do anything. And I was troubled by severe insomnia as well.
Today's guest went from that floor to the TEDx stage, the Mind Valley stage, and the World Tourism Forums. A #1 Amazon best-selling author who has traveled to more than 35 countries and now coaches world record-breaking athletes and founders who want to change humanity. In this episode, he breaks down why 10x is actually easier than 2x and the identity shift that turned one ordinary dad into a national movement. So, if you've ever come home from the trip and still felt empty, this conversation is your map back. Hi Freeman, it's such an honor to have you here with us on the Rise with AI podcast. You have actually went on TEDx stage in London at a very tender age of 22 years old. Could you share how was your experience and also what were some of the learning lessons that you have there?
Yeah, thanks for having me today as well and sharing some insights and tools and strategy with your audience as well. I didn't plan to be on TEDx stage. And it was when I was 22 years old, I was in uni in London. And it was very inspirational in a way because I realized, and also for the audience as well, is that if you realize there's a passion in you, right? If there's a deeper purpose, there's a message that you want to share with the world, an idea worth spreading, then you can do it. Because I was a nobody as well, growing up in Hong Kong, English wasn't even my official native language, right? But I did have a passion about global citizenship because as I was traveling in my early age, I do recognize that most of the conflicts in the world, right, the stereotype, the way where the world is seeing each other as enemy rather than friends, right, rather than one global village, one united planet, one united species, they actually create so much conflict. And it's also relevant to, later on we can delve into managing teams and system as well, because the cultural diversity is a very important aspect in our globalized world, right? But back in the day when I was 22, I went on this global village project when I was in Romania. And it was the first time I actually solo travel, and I learned so much by living together with 40 other internationals from 16 different countries. And then we have completely transformed a culture paradigm when we are in this Timișoara, a small village in Romania, and we are just spreading a message. What if we can do the same in every big cities as well, so that we can help each other to realize we are not defined by our skin color, hair color, or eye color. We're not defined by our occupation. We're not defined by our financial background or educational level, right? You and I, we are no different. We are citizens of the world. So that was the main message over 12, 13 years ago now, to be able to share that on the TEDx stage. And also hence, more other stages, including Mind Valley University stage, and also some of the prestigious stage in World Tourism Forum as well. And that was the starting point of the movement that I've created.
Wow, that is amazing. And since then, from the age of 22, what actually was the pivotal moment that actually lead you to becoming a mindset coach right now, and also leading that Travel to Transform movement?
Yeah, it's a very interesting one because since that early age, and I have this taste of success, right? And also very soon, I got to work for a multinational company, and I get paid to travel the world, right? And it's like living the dream. And I was in 20s, right? Swiping corporate car, being relocated, and then living in London, Singapore, moving in different countries. And now I'm based in Sydney, Australia as well. And the funny thing is, right, when at my early age, I thought I had it. Like finally getting paid to travel. A lot of people were dreaming of that. But the funny thing is, no matter how many countries I take off, right? No matter how many trips I've been to, there's still something missing on the inside, right? And don't get me wrong, I was working for amazing, amazing international companies. I was growing, I was learning, and it was very rewarding experience. But I know deep inside no matter how much I climb on this ladder, I
Mm.
know there's something deeper waiting
Mm.
for me to explore.
Mm.
And funny enough, because I always thought the answer on the outside,
Yeah.
and to a certain extent, when I was working in London, I also turned into, by day, I was a marketing manager, a business analyst by day. By night, I was a DJ as well, playing in Shoreditch in
Oh,
London and all the
DJ.
different nightclubs because I was trying to find that, something was missing. And turns out the answer wasn't on the outside. So one of the pivotal moments actually happened when it was December 2019. So I first moved from Singapore to Sydney, Australia for a relocation with my company. And first, I was experiencing Australian bushfire. And for the audience, you have
Wow.
never heard about it. Imagine you move to a new country and then the whole sky was orange and then there were ashes in my hair. And I was
Wow.
like having breathing problem because I had a lot of
Yeah.
hay fever and allergies as well at that time. So that wasn't what I picture. The Sydney relocation with the kangaroo jumping in the blue sky. And then COVID lockdown happened right away in March
God.
2020, just a couple of months after I moved there. So finally, I couldn't stop. I have to pause from all the travels. And all this year, I was trying to seek this answer from the outside.
Right.
And when there's no more traveling, when we're in lockdown, and I was working in the tourism industry as well, so I was like paused, only having 3 days work week, and I was in my tiny studio, and I still remember it finally hit me because it was around August time where in just within 1 week, I lost most of my saving from the stock market. And emotionally, I was still attaching to a British lady I was dating back in Hong Kong, but we were done. You can imagine like a young, ambitious
very
Asian
young,
guy
yeah.
who thought I made it in the Western world, navigating a global world, did a TED talk about global citizenship, and then finally hit the rock bottom. And physically, I was also identified with CFS as well by multiple doctors from different countries, which stands for chronic fatigue syndrome, which means I'm
Wow.
just so tired all the time at such a young age, where I feel like I was like 70, 80 years old. Right? I couldn't do anything. And I was troubled by severe insomnia as well. And the crazy thing is, even though I could sleep, I was troubled by nightmare. I finally had to pause. And this is also where I teach now to travel inwards, right? Rather than just traveling outwards to explore the world, all the amazing world cuisine, exploring cultures and different destinations the world has to offer. Equally important, there's also these steps to travel inwards, to explore our mind, body, and spirits as well. And when that two world combine, right, I call this sweet spot travel to transform, right, which is also where this movement actually started about. Where travel is actually so much more than just an escape, right? Because for so many years, I was just using travel as an escape, and also many of the founders and also movement leaders I help, actually, it's the same paradigm because the mindset is like, if I go on travel, I'm just going on a vacation, it's like time of the year, I get fed up with my team, fed up with my boss. I don't want all this angry email. I just want to switch off, right? Go on a vacation, but came back the same person. And I was that person as well. Just always came back from all this travel the same person until I really travel inwards, right? To combine both the outer mastery and the inner mastery, right? Because that's essentially mindful traveling, right? It's like the skill of the century living in this globalized world. And that's why I'm so passionate about it because it helps you unlock, especially for those business founder here, right? That we know all these famous people, Elon Musk and Steve Jobs, as successful entrepreneurship, even they don't teach specifically global citizenship. They already embody it. They already living the talk. And I think it's so essential at that point when I have this pivot moment, realizing this travel to transform journey is about blending both, right? Now we are unleashing the human potential, right? Now we are using this travel, both outward and inner travels, to unleash the best version of ourselves, right? So that now we are building business, we are building movement, we are building our impact, not because we want to keep doing, and having more, right? To scaling more, to scaling up only, but being able to recognize we are totally possible to do less, but to create more meaningful impact, right? And that's become the paradigm when I at that point, this pivotal moment reconnected with my deeper purpose. Soon enough, I was also surfing on Mind Valley as well. And for the audience who have never heard of Mind Valley, it's the world's biggest personal growth platform. And also actually how you and I cross paths and met as well and get to collaborate on one of the most amazing platform where we are blending in different spiritual and personal development that we don't normally get to learn in school, right? So at that time, I also become a certified life coach and also a certified hypnotherapist as
And
well.
so before you
Mm.
go on, I think in one of the Mind Valley University, you were also speaking on stage, and you were also crowned like one of the best tribe speakers on stage, right?
Yeah, so that was 2022 and 2023.
Mm.
And also last time when we were in Vietnam, Nomad Fest as well, another Nomad Festival,
Best
because I
speaker.
love serving as well. So I was rated, yeah,
Mm.
as the second best speaker out of the 29th session. So
Mm.
I'm very grateful for that because, again, this is not really about me, but for the listeners, like if a
Mm.
nobody like myself who had never had this professional training, but all of you are already founders, business owner, people who are change makers,
Yes.
right? If I, as a nobody, can do it, you can do it as well.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing your journey. And I could see that you actually went through so much because you were in a phase where you had a lot of mental and physical fatigue, and then now really using your body as a vessel to actually relate that to the world. Because now even in the corporate world, a lot of founder, CEO, or C-level executive, we are also constantly traveling around for
Mm.
business or for leisure. But sometimes, oftentimes we come back and then we feel so tired as well.
Yeah.
And I know for you personally, you mentioned about doing less but achieving more. So could you also share some of the client that you actually personally helped to and served that left a really deep mark in your coaching journey?
Yeah, absolutely. There was so many rewarding transformation,
Mm.
and one pops up in my mind right now is with Anna.
Mm.
She is actually the CEO of Freedom for Humanity. Really, really inspiring lady because her charity is actually one of the biggest charity in Australia,
Wow.
and the mission is to end human trafficking. Right, so a very noble cause. And funny enough, right, when I first met Anna, it was at a 3-day retreat slash conference, in suburban areas in Sydney. I was one of the speaker there. And it's so funny because I remember when I connected with Anna, like, wow, such an amazing mission and, mission-driven entrepreneur and also CEO, of her organization. But here's the thing, right? She just came to me, Freeman, I really, really want to speak to you. And she was like looking at the clock. Oh, I have my next appointment. I have this social event, and that was a Sunday, by the way. I have this event I have to attend to. I have this birthday party, and then I have another appointment. Actually, 2-1 clash. But I really want to speak to you. I just heard something shift in that keynote. And it's very funny because at that moment, I do ask her like yeah, this is like the pivot moment. Like, do you want to stay to have a deeper conversation so that we can really finally pause from that calendar to see what is exactly holding you back, or whether you want to follow the same calendar which you have done, for many years, right? And I challenge her, you are the CEO of your amazing charity. But in this case, do you feel like you are the CEO of your life? Right? Because if the listener, especially our C-suite executives as well, we are living in a paradigm, and the younger younger version of me as well also suffer the same. It's like we are in a very patriarchic society and also corporate system where we are rewarded by working hard, right? But what if the new paradigm is to work smart? Right, which I'm sure with your podcast Rise with I, we can get into more about a lot of automation and system and even framework, to help the founder to really fast track creating this, right? Which is where I'm also passionate about, in my work, in a lot of creating transformation, right? Because by transformation, it means to go beyond your current formation,
Exactly.
right? And as one of our master coach, Richard Liffen, in Mind Valley always says, right, the paradox of success. The paradox of success means everything you created to lead to the success that you are savoring this moment is exactly the things that are going to hold you back from creating the next level of success. If everything I've worked so hard or worked so smart to create, to become now this speaker, this coach, this best-selling author, this founder of Travel to Transform, and all this accolade that you have listed in the introduction, what if the point is to actually let go of everything I've created, focusing on the 20% that deliver the 80% of the results, right? 20% of the meaningful elements that create 80% of the result in order to create the next level of impact, right?
Okay.
That's not an easy process. And that's why in Anna's case, right, it's the same.
Right.
If you are the CEO of your life, you have to let go of all those meetings, all those schedules, right? all those things that doesn't align with you as a visionary in order to become a better version of you.
Can you share a little bit more onto how we can be doing the 20% to achieve the 80%? A little bit more into some practical tools, right, that we can actually how does it actually look for us? We have calendars, really a lot of meetings and things to do, but you mentioned about being the visionary. What are the do's or don'ts that or some of the values or that we should actually be picking on, so we know, okay, this actually aligns for me as a CEO and a founder and a visionary?
Yeah, beautiful question. And here's a very important thing, because in this line of work, right, a lot of people, they always talk about time management, right? And we always thought time management is going to help us to create a better, higher productivity, right? But in our line of high performance coaching, actually we speak about not time management, but energy management.
Energy management.
Yeah, energy management, not time management only. The reason for that is, I'm sure you have also this experience. It's like you have this amazing day at work, right? You talk to the team, you have all the meetings, you have presentation, nailed the day. You went back home, whew, you just want to sit on the sofa and do Netflix. And in that case, it's not because you don't have enough time to actually do your side project, right? To do your side passion, to keep going, but because you don't have enough energy. That is the first understanding about how high performance actually look at. And also because other than founders and also high levels movement leaders, I actually also coach one of my clients, Ellie Pepper, the founder of the 14 Peak Project. And she is a professional mountaineer. So she is actually on a breaking a world record, and she's on her journey and expedition, climbing the highest 14 mountains in the world. And she's the first Australian woman to do it without additional oxygen. So
Incredible.
it's an incredible record. And it's the same mindset. And the reason I want to show that is because a lot of the people, sometimes, especially for founders and business owner, we can actually learn so much from pro athletes, right? Because how we do one thing is how we do everything. And when we talk about high performance, right, if we really want to break a business record, right, achieve the revenue target you want, no matter what KPI metrics, right, about the people or impact you want to touch, right, no matter even in a charity, right, how many lives you want to save, right, all this metric, it has to first really, really align what your energy stands for. To jump into dissecting how the actual practical aspect, right, I believe there are two sides to it that we can share with the audience here. The first one is understanding your identity, right? Identity as a visionary. Yeah. So I'm using visionary as an example here, but for the listener, maybe depending on your level and also the organization and movement you're building, sometimes you may be a visionary, and sometimes you may be the executor. Sometimes you can be the gladiator, one of those who storm into a meeting and execute, making sure all the events, marketing, in place, and ads, right? So you have your own archetype per se that you can use as an identity, but the formula and the mechanics is the same. And this is a very important point from one of my mentor, Regan Hilliers, as you have also met her in our Mind Valley event here in Amsterdam this year. And one thing she really teach that shift me a lot to understand this identity is that we are a multi-dimensional human being. And what that means is you can be a founder, but at the same time, you may also be a father or mother. You can be a husband and wife, right? You can also be a pedal player, You can be a gamer as well, Like it would be maybe you have a passion in video game, after work. And you may be a movement leader. You may be so many different matrix of identity. And it's very essential to understand that we, even as a founder of certain company, right, it's not just that title, that occupation supporting my life work, supporting my mindset, supporting my operating system of how I operate day to day, right? But that accumulations of the sum total of every single bit of identity to serve who you are, because that is the real energy management, right? And I can bet you, I'm sure, if you have like the worst fight with your spouse, right, with your partner, with your family, you go back to work into the office, your brain works differently. We can only receive what we are allowed to hold, right? And what that means is we want to understand the inner capacity. We, as a multidimensional human being, what is that inner capacity that I can hold with all these layers of me, besides being a founder, And that is actually the game. A lot of people, when they talk about business, the mistake they make is they focus on the business strategy only, the system only, right? And also, how I can be a better team management and MBA and all this, like the traditional way of looking at it. But what if, in order to do less to achieve more, is simply by understanding how you can be in alignment with your energy so that you can serve all the people around you and your team and your organization in the best way possible. Right. So that's the first layer to answer the question about the identity itself. Now, the practical aspect also, in order to draw that 2080 rules, right? There's this amazing book by Dan Sullivan called 10x is easier than 2x. I almost wanted to use the other book, the Essentialism, that you recommend me to read as well as part of the journey. But I feel like it's even more relevant here with 10x is easier than 2x, right? Because in relevant to what we spoke about, the paradox of success, right? Now, the practical aspect of for us to create breakthrough, for us to create success, right? To break through this paradox of success so that we can reach the next level of achievement we want to unlock. What we want to understand is that we are not here to achieve the 2x, which means doubling the achievement you have right now. So what I mean by that is, let's say your organization make $1 million this month. The doubling of it is to make $2 million, right? And in order for you to do that, now it's actually it's gonna really drain your energy in a way because you're trying to double everything you have done in order to create that success. May that be the social ad campaign, right? May that be the team that you have trained and hired, right? May that be the new sales agency you have put in, right? May that be the product improvement. You have spent that amount of time and effort to create that success. And now if you want to double it, right? Now you want to double your work hours. Now you have to double your team, right? In order to achieve that, you're going to burn out. So in order to create a 10x success instead, right? Rather than doubling the success, here's the interesting thing. Rather than focusing on what delivered that $1 million, you want to find out what I have to let go in order to be able to springboard to the 10 million. So the practical aspect is now you want to really have this full analysis, right? To be able to understand the process and success, right? What created that success? List down the top values, list down the top obstacle you have faced in order to create that as well. And then focusing on the top three, because now you're extracting the data point, right? That actually help you deliver the minimal viable product with the maximum amount of impact. And now with that elements, you can reverse engineer from the 10x possibility, which is the 10 million. Now, you don't ask yourself how I can double all the effort you have done in a campaign, but you actually work reverse engineer. You look at that 10 million goal, right?
Wow.
Reverse engineer, look at the top three priority list, what are the success element, and reverse engineer it. And that's how you can create more breakthrough. Both the identity aspect, right? You as the leader, and also the practical aspect, the system of it. How you can systemize continuously being able to help your organization team to let go. That's the key.
Well, I love how you actually simplify that down. I mean, when you actually mentioned about the 2x and 10x, and also letting go of stuff, I was thinking, oh, I think we have a lot to let go of. But what I'm actually hearing from you, right, is that we first need to know the depth of who we are, right, and of course, the roles that we also play. But a question to that is, are there actually, what if we have some limiting beliefs of the depth that we actually have? You mentioned about the capacity that we can actually hold. So for you, when you actually help your clients to actually break through, climb the next mountain, like for being the first women and also like helping them to scale their business, for that, how do you actually help them to overcome that?
What's holding us back is never an external factor. It's never because the team is not good enough. It's never because the ad campaign is not working. I believe it's the mindset that is holding us back. And what I mean by that is because if you dissect how the human mind really works, I mean, this conscious awareness, that first you have to be aware of things in order to help improve and track and deliver results, right? And the conscious awareness, this consciousness, mind consciousness and thought, I would say, is the key essential ingredients of how we are operating in the system. And the reason why mindset is always a factor that holds us back the most is because we can only see what our mind wants us to perceive, right? So from a neuroscience perspective, right, and even from a quantum physics perspective, if you have heard about the observer effect, right, is that we can only see the problem when we are observing the problem. So same for any business system, scaling or not, revenue go or not, right, impact, whatever the metrics. First, we have to observe that, right? So let me use a real life example that may be easier to also, really synthesize all the different points and tools and mindset shifts and identity we spoke about in order to expand the inner capacity, right? So that the audience can also reflect on, how I can apply this, in my own life. So one of my another clients called Simo, right? And Simo is an incredible guy. He's also from Sydney, Australia. And when he first met me, he has been 20 years, a very senior operation manager in a British company in Australia as well. And the funny thing is, he faced this dilemma of life. Came to me, Freeman, I just got a call. I don't know whether I should take this redundancy from his company or whether to take this fake promotion that he's gonna end up working for a team with a more senior title that he's not gonna feel happy about. And as any good mindset coaches, we don't give them the answer. We help them to find the answer from the inside, right? So long story short, because I want to go into the tool a little bit more, but what happened with that shift, right? As you're also asking about the limiting belief, is that it's almost like a duality. If I take the redundancy, now I only have 3 months because he had 3 kids to feed as well in his house, right? But at the same time, he knows this is an opportunity to step outside his comfort zone to try something different. So long story short, we went through this process of understanding that matrix of identity we spoke about, and he recognized, wait, other than being a father who wants to travel more because he has a full-time job, he didn't get spend enough time with his kid and also explore Australia. He wants to drive a caravan, right? Like he never did that before. And he has like all these things about being a mental health advocate. And he will also do, he's also a breathwork facilitator as well, right? He's also want to be an amazing father, and he also just has a divorce at the same time as well, right? And all these layers of identity, right? We're human beings. We're human beings, and I'm sure the listener, you may not necessarily have the same matrix, but you will identify, as we spoke about the conscious awareness. Now we recognize I'm a multi-dimensional being. Yeah, I'm not just a founder, but how we do one thing in other areas of life affects how we show up in our organization, right? Simo then, one really funny identity that he finally, when we dig deep into the layer, right, to the last layer, I know there's something hiding inside, and I challenge him. And he said, yeah, actually, one more, is that in the last decade, he has been donating blood. And I was like, okay, why do you do that? And he starts speaking about, with his gesture, he's changed another person, it's about the passion, how he saved life, right? Why actually Australia is spending all this money importing blood from others because they don't have enough blood donation within the country. And he spoke about this passion. I said, okay, so what if this is your deeper purpose and the movement you want to create? And then you start, just like you said, the limiting belief shows up. No, I still need to feed my kids. I need to do this. Like, how can you make money, right? Then we start finding the blueprint, building this blueprint, that being able to create a movement around this that also encompass all the different identity you want to create.
And what you mentioned here is not just, is a deeper purpose. You're talking about movement.
A movement bigger than ourselves, right? And here's a very important thing for any founder who is listening. I know there's an organizational mission behind, right? But does that align with your personal mission, right? Does that align with your deeper purpose? If it does, I assure you, how you show up in your organization will just naturally creating success because it's in full alignment. But if you are doing that because it's a well-paid job, because it gives you a really good status, because the product is amazing, that's an external reason. So dig deep, right? Dig deep into understanding what is that things that makes you feel so passionate about you wake up every single day, right? To go into the team and be that leader, that transformational leader you're leading through, right? So in Simo's case, he recognized, wait, if this is something possible, what if he create this, now he call the bloody good tour, right? Where now he's actually driving around all around Australia to visit every single state, to visit every single live blood donor center to donate blood with 3 of his kids in a caravan. Funny enough, financially, it works well for him as well because he was just passionately talking about, his mission. And when he was in a caravan show, he actually bought his new caravan at a wholesaler price rather than retail price, right? And he got sponsored to go to all this caravan park because he's also doing his ice bath workshop for the people. And that's why he doesn't need to pay for fee. Exactly. He wanted to do it for himself anyway. May as well do it together, with people who are interested in the caravan parks, meeting new friends, right? And he just combined, like being able to have this whole new movement working around every identity you want. And the reason I'm sharing that is because the limiting belief as we see it in our programming, obviously, in deeper one-to-one coaching, right, as in my work, there are more modality and also system to go much deeper into it in hypnosis and really find out the nitty-gritty of what are the bugs in our programming system per se, right? But, in a moment for now, what really important for the audience to be able to take out about limiting belief, just like Tony Robbins says, we are the captain of our ship, the master of our fate, and we can reprogram ourselves anytime. Most people, we live on autopilot because we wake up, brush our teeth, go to work, drive the car, go to the same route every day. And when that neural pathway solidify, that become an autopilot. And that's why the challenge has become, how can I, since the moment I wake up, to become so mindful that I don't want to be controlled by the program I have set from yesterday, which is the paradox of success we talk about, right? But to create a whole new different routine per se that can lead me toward to become the better version of myself.
This makes a lot of sense now that you talk about identity, and then the next piece is really identifying what is the success element, right? So now I see why you come from a really deeper sense of the identity first, and that links to the values. When the client Simon came to you and talked to you about that two choices, you did not actually give him the chance to get on continue that just limited view of, I would say,
Exactly.
that way, right? There's actually a lot more out there that he could actually achieve without just seeing that two choices. So
Yeah,
that is just so profound.
exactly. And to continue his example, right, on this, because that actually leads to what you just spoke about, because how we can apply that 2018 mindset and the practical aspect of it. Funny enough, right, because on his tour around, I think 8 months in, right, he was on this 1 year tour, and then around his second or felt like, and he started having all these amazing collaborations, right, as you can imagine. And every town he went to, he was shaking Maya's hand, right? Because he was just so impressed. Wow, like this guy is amazing. Like he's a superhero coming in, donating blood and also encouraging the citizens, to do that, right?
Sensation.
A national sensation, literally. And he was on national TV and did something exactly why I was saying about 10x is easier than 2x. Because when he first started the tour, when he didn't even thought it's possible, he never thought about he would be on TV, speaking about his passion, doing all these podcast interviews as well, right? 6, 8 months in, he was on national TV. And in fact, just before I came here, when I was on a plane to come to Amsterdam, he was on Channel 7 as well, because he was just wrapping up his last leg in Sydney. And then he was in the Sydney town hall station, right? Driving with his caravan bag, and then like a hero, like the camera crew is like looking at him. And it's like, wow, someone's here with his, his bloody good red cape per se, like a Superman, and then all a lot of people supporting his movement as well. The bloody good team, as he call him. Obviously, all this media exposures and impact, right, reaching millions of people, sending the message, it would otherwise not possible, right? If he is only focusing on the first leg, how he's delivering that 2x result. In around 8 months' time, right, here's where in one of our coaching sessions that also is a key challenge to come up. Because now that he has so many collaboration, so many content to create, so many posts to schedule, the next strategy meeting and coming in and out like that it's just nonstop. And in his case, right, and he was striving, he was still donating blood at the same time managing all this admin and collaboration, right? Because most of the time, the limiting belief is that we are in a place of scarcity, right? That we need more collaboration in order for that movement to be a success. So I challenge him, what if the key here is to identify the key collaboration that's going to really deliver that 80% of result and build relationship with the rest and let them know this is not the right moment. The inner capacity, as we talk about, right? This inner capacity allows him to serve on TV, to be able to have this 3 minutes laser message deliver, right? When Channel 9, Channel 7, really asking him. If he's like organ blazing, trying to fight every single battle, it's impossible to be in that energy. We talked about energy management earlier, right? That's how we manage his energy. He still have time when he's driving caravan, to do his workout as well, together with his kids. Actually, he has a lot of videos with his family doing family workout. That's another thing about helping busy parents, which is also his forte as well, right? To build into his coaching, right? You see how multidimensional we can play this game, right? Because you now can show people that a lot of busy parents, they can't travel with their kids. They don't even have time to go to the gym. Now he's doing all of them at the same time, right? So you see how playing this 10x game, right? We want to really laser zoom in to let go of the things that don't serve him, even though it's some of the collaborations serve him, right, in the first 6 months. But if it comes to a point where it's holding him back to unleash the next one, which now from hindsight we know are the media, TV interviews, and also magazine coverage, right? Now we know what we have to let go.
I'm curious to know right now, you have all these amazing people that you have helped, and I know that your mission, your movement is really to reach out to the masses and have to impact more lives. What are some of the things that you actually are implementing to really 10x that impact for your business?
And the funny thing is, right, and this is why, we actually become good friends as well, right? For the audience context, because when we spoke about automation and system, right, in order to really embody this do less and achieve more notion, I'm also now moving into building more automations, right? Passive income through delivering online content, right? E-learning, right? And also shorts, long form, right? Because what really beautiful about living in this modern age, right, as a global citizen, is that it has never been this easy in human history. We have all this AI tool and technology that help us build a business, build automation, build a whole marketing team, or even AI agents, right? AI agents in ChatGPT, in Claude, to be able to help us work while we are sleeping. It's incredible.
Yeah.
We'll never live in an age like this. And
AI for the win.
right, AI will win. And for me, right, I think now I'm at a next pivot stage where I'm also experiencing my challenge where I am the bottleneck, right? So I'm also stepping into it. In order for me to 10x, I have to build all this content online so that it can circulate. When I'm sleeping, my audience is still being impacted by it,
100%.
right? My movement is still creating this ripple effect, right? I'm still reaching out to all this audience. And I actually experienced that when I first published my best-selling book, Travel to Transform, right? Awaken the Global Citizen in You and Thrive in a Modern World, right? That's the book title. And with Travel to Transform, when I receive all these Instagram messages, like literally long, hundreds of messages and saying how this book transformed life. When I wake up, when I'm brushing my teeth, it's like when tears come through my eye, feeling this gratitude that, wow, like when I am just in my dreamland, actually on the other side of the world, right? People in the States, in a different time zone, they're actually reading my book, reading my story, reading the inspiration I got to share with them, and also the framework and the knowledge that now get to implement in their own travel life, right? To be able to evolve from being a tourist to being a global citizen, right? To really create life by design, right? To be really able to thrive and not just survive. And that rewarding feeling is something that me as an identity, actually, I'm embodying this energy more because that really excites me. So I'm bringing that into building my content right now on Instagram, in the work that you and I are also working with your beautiful support as well, to be able to use less time, right? Less time, trading less time to deliver more success and reach and conversion, right? So that I'm really serving the audience that I'm serving and cutting through all this noise, right? Because while technology is amazing, the noise, the information age nowadays is also very noisy. And that's why one thing I teach is also relevant to the audience is to understand the difference between information and transformation, right? Information is free. And in fact, I don't know whether you know about it, but nowadays our access, right? Like a normal person, our access to information now is actually even more abundance than the president of the United States just 2 decades ago. We have more information than that. So information is free. It almost has no values in a sense because we're just bombarded by all this information. But in order to take that step, right, to be able to go into the real valuable stage, which is transformation, to go beyond your current formation, right? So that you are going into your next level of identity, right? the more successful, more aligned, more purposeful version of you, right? To step into it. And that's why being able to go from information to transformation, to take the necessary step of integration, right? Integration the pieces of information into aligned action. So information to transformation, we need the necessary step of integration, which is the exact step of taking aligned actions.
I will probably want to do that. That's a very good equation. Yes.
That's a very mouthful of equation, yes.
That's what I love about Freeman, you know. You really just simplify really complicated concept and really make it into easy for us to really understand and absorb and into the modern world, like the information that you talk about, and you really transform okay to for your listeners and for the people that you actually serve. So absolutely, I totally agree. Like with all the AI, the tools that are available, and with technology, we could have all the information on hand. So, but you also mentioned the key thing here for you to actually accelerate your growth is automation. So for you, what are some of the automation that you actually are planning to embed onto your business?
One of the key automation right now, as we are also, you're helping me on, migrating to quite high level, right, to a different platform from Kajabi. For the reason it's much easier to build some of the automations coming from the content from my book, content from actually my coaching as well, the transformation elements. Also the content that I have from my online course, the Travel Mastery Blueprint, right, to help travelers to find deeper purpose, right, as part of my movement blueprint. So there are many different touch points of content I have created, but they are all scattered in different places. And that's why the automations, when you help me to realize, is such an important place that they all are meant to flow together, because I'm serving the group of audience who are at a different growth stage, right? I'm also in a different growth stage. The audience, the founder you are right now, you're at a different growth stage. And 3-5 years later, when you have a different title, when you're in a different organization, when you're serving a different movement, you will have another growth stage, right? It's a beautiful, continuous journey of human evolution together, right? Together with technology. So with that understanding in mind, it's so essential to understand what am I integrating and embodying. And at this stage for me is to really have the right tool, have the right team, and the right platform and the right automation to puzzle the different pieces and the offers and service I already have created. So streamline that to make it more in flow together. Yeah, that's my focus at the moment.
Well, I have a very fun question for you. So I know how much you love sci-fi movies. Okay. And if you were to pick any of the character to have a sit down and conversation with, you know, who would that be and why?
So it has to be a sci-fi movie pick then, yeah. So I was thinking I want to say Altered Carbon because we spoke about that movie. But I think now I want to pick Pentium. Pentium, the other one that we actually both watched as well.
Which character from Pentium?
So I think the main character, I think David is the dad, right? And it doesn't matter whether you have watched this because, long story short, Pentium is about uploaded intelligence, right? A future world, a futuristic world where even way beyond AI, right? But the next step, not just artificial intelligence, but uploaded intelligence. What if our consciousness can be uploaded to a server? And I believe it will be a pretty rewarding experience in this sense if I can talk to a character coming from that space, because a lot of the ancient practices actually help us to unlock a lot of the creation, but we're dragging too far, right? I think in Pentium, a lot of the character, if I can talk to an upload intelligence whose consciousness is actually in a machine per se, I think that would be pretty rewarding to see from that point of view, right? Because they are now living in a future timeline per se, and see we humanity at this point, as we are recording this podcast interview in 2025, right, that we are experiencing also Trump in the States and Elon Musk and going to Mars, right? And also the different AI tool exploding. And what if we can ask all those upload intelligence, right? The question, what we could do better to help on humanity, so that we are moving to the timeline that we are making the world a better place rather than destroying it through technology and going into this Terminator Skynet timeline, right? Yeah. How can we improve humanity? Right. How can we improve the world to make it a better place together as a collective? Yeah.
And this is exactly who Freeman really embodies, even in real life and on stage, or helping other people, seeing tons and tons again and again. With this beautiful human being as you are. So, this is not a proposal or anything, but I would like to. I think it's about time to wrap this up. Where can people actually find you online if they want to reach out and follow you on your work?
Yeah, I'm pretty active on social media, particularly on Instagram, Freeman Fung Official, and also LinkedIn as well. And for those who want to check out my work, you can also go to www.traveltotransform.com, and you'll be able to find a lot of free resources and also my signature courses there as well, and also what I do with my coaching. So yeah, thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much, Freeman. So that's a wrap for this episode. And well, if listeners, you find that this episode really inspired you, share it with someone who wants who might actually benefit right from hearing this. And if you guys want to follow Freeman, all the links are on the description. So and you want to hear more conversations with leaders in professional training and e-learning industry, follow us on this channel. So until then, take care and we'll see you soon. Bye.
See you again soon.